It's official, this Diddy trial is no longer just about Cassie. What began as a disturbing but relatively narrow case focused on her testimony has now spiraled into something no one saw coming. This isn't tabloid drama anymore, we're talking federal courtroom shifts, leaked summaries from insiders, silent audio playbacks, and an avalanche of resurfaced clips that are dragging half of Hollywood into the mud. The internet is working overtime, the streets are buzzing, and the people involved, they're probably sweating harder than they ever have. Here's what just happened. After weeks of the prosecution laying out Cassie's story, the alleged abuse, the infamous freak-offs, and Diddy's controlling behavior, the case took a sharp turn. According to courtroom spectators and online leaks, prosecutors have now moved beyond Cassie. The focus has shifted to audio recordings and not just any tapes. These are reportedly graphic, explicit recordings involving Diddy himself, Will Smith and Meek Mill. This is no longer just Twitter hearsay. This is reportedly being played in open court. It all began when video footage from a hotel lobby was shown a few days ago. No audio, just visuals. Everyone assumed that was as far as it would go. But now, insiders claim that audio was played behind closed doors, and it left the entire room frozen. No phones were allowed. No journalists were recording, just complete, stunned silence. One source described the clip as male, graphic, and undeniable, the kind of silence that only happens when what's being heard is serious. And if that wasn't enough to shake the courtroom, it gets deeper. After that moment, new witnesses were announced, and they aren't random attention seekers. These are former bad boy artists, ex-staff, and individuals who toured with Diddy, or stayed at his infamous parties. These are people who've seen things from the inside. These are people who may have stayed silent for years, but are now ready to speak under legal protection. One of those voices is Dawn Richard. You might remember her from Danity Kane, one of Diddy's former girl groups. She recently testified, and was later spotted leaving the courtroom looking visibly frustrated and drained, caught on paparazzi cameras. According to insiders, her testimony backed Cassie's claims. She didn't hold back. She openly admitted that Diddy did horrible things. That's not tabloid gossip. That's documented in the court transcript. And then there was the moment that truly drove home how serious this situation has become. Diddy's daughter leaving the courtroom. No smugness, no attitude, just a blank, pale expression. Silent, shaken. She didn't even look up. And the paparazzi didn't dare shout questions. Insiders claim her reaction came immediately after the audio was played in court, adding even more weight to just how disturbing the content may have been. At this point, the implications go far beyond legal consequences. This is now about reputation, family, legacy, and the unraveling of a powerful web of secrets involving some of the biggest names in entertainment. Smith's name being dropped wasn't just a throwaway, it's reportedly tied directly to the audio. And of course, the internet wasted no time reacting. Old clips, side-eye interviews, podcast moments, everything involving Will and Diddy's past interactions began resurfacing. One interview in particular exploded online again. Comedian Lunel casually remarked that Diddy and Will were clapping each other's cheeks. She said it so nonchalantly that most people missed it the first time. But this time, everyone caught it, and the internet ran wild. Then came the deeper rabbit hole. Fans started revisiting clips of Will with his son, Jaden's once seemed like quirky, playful father-son bonding now appeared under an entirely different lens. The affectionate kisses, the over-the-top energy, it started to feel off to some viewers. The tone shifted. And then came the nuclear moment. Will Smith's former assistant, brother Bilal, also spelled Bell in some reports, dropped his own set of allegations, claims that made everything even harder to ignore. He alleged that he personally witnessed Will engaging in explicit acts, graphically describing a moment where Will was supposedly playing with another man's junk and trying to finger him. But that wasn't even the most explosive claim. Bilal went on to say that he once walked in on Dwayne Martin and Will in a compromising position, allegedly catching Dwayne bending Will over a couch like a yoga instructor. His words, not mine. After brother Bilal lit the fuse with that wild Dwayne Martin claim, the internet basically turned into a CSI unit. Fans weren't waiting for official confirmations, they started digging for receipts. Media confirmation wasn't even needed. Fans took matters into their own hands. They started pulling clips, photos, old interviews, every moment where Diddy and Will were seen together at events, hugging, laughing, posted up like close friends. Then Will finally spoke out, attempting to shut everything down with a firm denial. His quote, "I ain't nowhere near that man," I did none of that stupid s. So whenever y'all hear it, if somebody say that, it's a damn lie. Except, that only made things worse. The second Will said that people flooded Twitter and Reddit with photo receipts images of him and Diddy being, well, very near each other. Parties, clubs, award shows, chill hangouts. There's even a clip of them, toasting champagne like lifelong friends. So now, people weren't just suspicious, they felt lied to. And this is where Meek Mill enters the picture. His name was reportedly dropped during the courtroom playback of those alleged freak-off tapes too. The moment that happened, everything spiraled. Unlike Will, who at least attempted a calm denial, Meek went into full meltdown mode. He started tweeting nonstop, firing off defensive post after defensive post. And honestly, the more he tweeted, the worse it looked. People were convinced something was up. The thing is, Meek's name has been popping up alongside Diddy's for years. Fans always joked about their dynamic, calling Meek things like Diddy's intern, pocket puppet, and even darker names not worth repeating. At the time, most chalked it up to trolling, but now, those jokes are being dug up and reframed, like old puzzle pieces finally clicking into place. And yes, the internet pulled out receipts on Meek too. One viral video showed him at a party, with billionaire Michael Rubin, hopping around like a kid who just lost a bet. People started pointing out how uncomfortable it looked, like he was trying to laugh it off, but the energy just felt off. In the background, someone laughs and taunts him, and the vibe turns even more awkward. Then came another clip. Diddy throwing Meek a birthday party. Seems harmless until you realize the party was full of shirtless men by the pool. Then Diddy, on camera, looks at Meek, and says, "Proud of you, I love you, I appreciate life, Daddy." Yeah, the internet did not let that one slide. Every time Meek posted something trying to act tough, fans threw that clip right back at him. Daddy became a meme overnight. And when he finally snapped, tweeting, "I'm not fruity, stop playing with me," the replies were instantly flooded with screenshots, old tweets, and videos of him looking real cozy with Diddy. But what really hit people hard was the mystery surrounding the actual audio. So far, none of it has leaked, no video, no public playback, just whispers from insiders and courtroom summaries. And that's what makes it even worse. Everyone's hearing how wild it is, but no one outside that courtroom has actually heard it. One insider described a scene of a man being pounded while Diddy laughed in the background. That's the level we're talking about here. There was even a short clip circulating online, where someone claimed to have a recording of Meek and Diddy making love. Whether that was real, or just someone chasing clout, is still up for debate, but the buzz around it is undeniable. And the fact that the government hasn't released anything is making people even more suspicious. Because here's the thing. In the US, you can't just hide evidence in a criminal trial unless there's a very good reason. Journalists have already begun asking tough questions. If this evidence is so serious, why is it locked away? Why can't the public hear what's potentially being used to convict someone? After all, if we're putting someone on trial, transparency matters. Some argue it's about protecting the identities or dignity of those involved. Others say it's because the audio is simply too explosive, too many famous names, too much power involved behind the scenes. If this stuff actually leaks, it might not just ruin reputations. It could take down careers, destroy major business deals, spark lawsuits, and drag in people who haven't even been named yet. And that's the scariest part. If Diddy, Will, and Meek are only the tip of the iceberg, who else is tangled up in all of this? As wild as it all sounds, the silence might be louder than the evidence itself. The most disturbing part isn't even the celebrity name drops, it's the silence. We live in an age where everything leaks. iCloud, hacks, court documents, even courtroom audio somehow. It always finds its way online. But this time, not a single second of those alleged Diddy tapes has surfaced. Not a clip. Not a whisper of audio. Not even a still image. That silence is deafening. And it's got people asking one chilling question. Who's protecting this? And that question has opened up an entirely new rabbit hole. Because let's be honest, this trial stopped being about just Diddy and Cassie weeks ago. It's starting to unearth something much deeper. A network. A culture behind closed doors. Something that may have been happening for years unchecked, unspoken, and protected by power. The only reason it's coming out now is because of federal pressure and because survivors and insiders finally feel safe enough to talk. What we're witnessing is the full unraveling of someone who once seemed untouchable. Diddy wasn't just a music mogul, he was woven into the very fabric of hip-hop, television, fashion, and pop culture. He embodied that bad boy for life. Energy. The lavish parties. The vote or die campaign. The billionaire friendships. But now, all of that is crumbling publicly, painfully, and in real time. People are now saying, we should have seen this coming. Because in hindsight, the red flags were always there, from Diddy's obsessive control over artists to those strange interviews where he'd say pause after nearly every sentence, like he was half joking, half hiding something. Nearly every artist who left Bad Boy seemed damaged or disappeared. Remember Maze, Loon, Day 26, Danity Kane. Aubrey O'Day has been trying to blow the whistle for years. And nobody listened. But the courtroom isn't ignoring it now. Dawn Richards' testimony added real weight to the idea that Diddy wasn't just problematic, he was allegedly predatory. She confirmed that Cassie wasn't lying, that things did happen, and that kind of corroboration in court. That's lethal. The emotional fallout isn't just hitting Diddy, either. Will Smith's already fragile reputation, especially after the Oscar slap, is now on even shakier ground. People who once stood by him during that mess are now questioning his character even more, because if these audio tapes are real, and if his voice is on them, this won't just be a PR nightmare, it could be career-ending. As for Meek Mill, the internet is already treating him like he's finished. He hasn't been charged with anything, but the way he's reacting, the OP defensiveness, the y'all trying to ruin me posts only adds fuel to the fire. And that's the thing about the court of public opinion. Once your name is tied to something this dirty, it doesn't matter if you're legally clean. You've already lost the perception game, and yet, no one from the government is stepping forward to explain the silence. There's no statement clarifying whether the tapes are under review, or why they haven't been released. And that silence, it only adds fuel to the theory that these tapes are simply too hot to touch. Maybe the people on them are too famous, maybe they're part of undisclosed deals or networks we don't even know about, or maybe the government itself is walking a political tightrope, trying not to blow this case open too fast. So now we're stuck in a strange kind of limbo. The court keeps moving, the internet keeps digging, and the people allegedly involved continue walking around like nothing's happening. But that can't last forever. This isn't the kind of thing that stays buried, not in 2025. The internet doesn't forget, and it doesn't forgive, and when people feel like the truth is being hidden from them, they only dig harder. If those tapes ever leak, it won't just be Diddy who goes down, it could shake the entire foundation of Hollywood's elite. Not just because of what he allegedly did, but because of who else was in the room. The velvet curtain is being pulled back, and what's behind it might be darker than anyone ever imagined. We'll keep watching.